On a personal note, are you ready to be front page news? Are you ready not to be able to walk down and buy a pint of milk anymore?
I mean,
you maybe can't do that already. I don't know.
I can absolutely. I went out to develop my camera from holiday in my England tracksuit, and I had to quickly drop it off before I came to camp, and I was all dressed ready.
And anyone?
I can just walk, and it is so nice. If it means that our game has gone like that, and for future generations to come, they have a real something to sort of look up to and be like that, then I think it'll be worth it. Ask me again.
Yeah, when you can't leave your house for the paparazzi outside your house.
I doubt it, but yeah, if we ever get there, ask me.
Well,
again.
you never know. I wondered if, because the men are here, you've had a chance to speak to anyone, particularly Harry Kane, about it. I know he watched training, didn't he, yesterday? To get that sense of what it's like to captain at a home Euros.
Yeah, I think I've never met Harry. It'd be great to obviously speak to him, and I'm lucky, even like Steph's in the squad now, so there's so many people around that have expertise that I don't, and that I just want to learn as much off, almost like a sponge. All the factors together and like how big this is, it's one of those where I don't know how I'm going to react, and I don't, I would be interested to know if he did, and he had a way of preparing for it.
The kind of idea of you that I found really interesting was the compartmentalizing, and I loved what you said. Like, I love football because when I leave the pitch, the next time I get back on, I pick it up where I left off.
Yeah.
I wonder if you'll be able to do that, and what advice you've taken about that.
Yeah, I think I've always seen it as a strength, like that I'm able to do that.
I mean, very few athletes can do that.
Yeah, and I think I'm lucky. I play for my team, Arsenal, England. I live by my family, so I have all the means to do that. Some girls who move across the world to play football and you're on your own. Like, how do you switch off from football? I do sort of wonder sometimes, is there an edge to being switched on? Am I missing something?
Right.
So it's one of those where I would never force it. I would just sort of go with how I feel, and right now it feels right to me that now in prep camp and leading up to a tournament, obviously I want it to consume me. I do have interests, and I do have things that make me happy, and if my grandma rings me and says, I've got tickets to a concert this evening.
Did your grandma go to concerts?
We go to gigs all the time together.
So, what gigs do you see with your granny?
Well, the other day we went to Nathaniel Rateliff and the Night Sets, which was really good if anyone's not heard of them. We got Killers tickets for next weekend. You're going to watch the Killers with your grandma? Yeah. No, we go everywhere together. That to me is, when I look back on my life, I will have been a footballer, and I'm very conscious that it's a very short time I have to make an impact in my sport. But I have a whole life to live, and I don't ever want to, that time to me is just as valuable. And
that's a really difficult thing with females, in particular female sports people, isn't it? Like, you start appearing in Gucci green trousers and people go, well, maybe she's not taking sport seriously enough.
Well, that's the worry, but I don't want people to perceive me in the wrong way, but I'm also thick-skinned enough to go, and I'm taking care of my performance. I'm a footballer. I'm going to have a bad day. It doesn't directly correlate. And if it did, I wouldn't do it. And if I thought it was taken away from me on the pitch, then I wouldn't do it. But I've always been the same. And I think that's the thing. It's not like just now, OK, now it's Gucci green trousers.
I mean, quite frankly, who wouldn't want to wear green Gucci trousers?
But before that, it was a concert with my grandma. And, so it's just the way I've been brought up. And, we're always on the go.
Are you emotional? Do you think there might be a tear or two at Old Trafford?
Oh, yeah.
Are you? Are you a crier?
Yeah. It's funny because everyone says I'm cold, and everyone says I'm, really, Jill Scott gets on at me all the time, like I'm so cold and I don't show emotion and I don't do this. But when I do, and what I care about, I care really, quite a lot about. So, there's been a lot of tears. And that will probably be one of those moments. My debut, I cried. I was trying not to cry during the national anthem because it means a lot, and there'll just be certain times when I am like that, but it's just not very often.
Have you thought about what it would mean to be a history maker?
I think that's the dream. I've been thinking about that since I was
Have you?
6. Like, in terms of, I've always wanted to. I want to leave my mark, and then especially as a team, the legacy that we've started to create is so powerful, and I'm so lucky to have been a part of the journey where I started playing with people that had to work 2 jobs. And now I'm in a team where everybody's professional, and I've seen the change, and I'm very grateful for that, because I know what's come before me, and I'm proud of the way that we're representing. You know, we are lucky. We have all these luxuries, but we know where we came from, which is really important to me. But I think we'd all like to leave the game knowing that we'd put the trophy in our cabinet.
And you never quite know when these sorts of chances are going to come around.
Yeah, we all talk about the England team, the men's team that had all those players and they never won anything.
Yes,
and you know,
the golden generation.
Yeah, you don't want to be that team, but you also can't just do it. And you don't know what's going to happen. That's the beauty. That's why we love football, because you have no idea. So it's one of those where do you dare to dream, but also you can only take care of the day to day.